Hey there, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is where we cut through the noise, unpack complex topics, and, well, give you a shortcut to being truly well-informed.
That's the plan.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into an absolutely crucial part of Unit 2, People in Business. We're zeroing in on Part 2, Recruitment and Training, and specifically, Chapter 18, Recruitment and Selection.
Yeah, this chapter is really fundamental. It's all about how businesses find and bring the right people into their teams. And, it's a topic that pops up quite a bit in IGCSE business exams.
Exactly.
So we'll be breaking down the different types of employment, walking through that whole recruitment process step by step, explaining the key documents involved, things like job descriptions, person specs,
Right.
and also looking at the pros and cons of recruiting internally versus externally.
So what does this all mean for you listening? Well, by the end of this deep dive, you won't just know the definitions, you'll hopefully understand when and why businesses use certain approaches in the real world, seeing the bigger picture.
Exactly. It's about the strategy behind it. And remember, for more resources and deeper dives into other topics, you can always check out www.igc-business.weebly.com.
Great resource. Okay, let's get into it then. Let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
So businesses aren't static, are they? Their staffing needs change all the time. They need different kinds of help at different times, maybe a long-term manager, maybe someone just for a busy weekend. So what are the options? What kinds of employment are available?
It's actually fascinating how diverse employment types have become. It gives businesses huge flexibility, which they definitely need, and it offers people lots of different ways to work, too.
Okay, so what's the most common one?
Well, you'd probably start with full-time employment. That's the one most people think of first, right?
Yeah, the standard 9 to 5, sort of.
Pretty much. It's when a business expects an employee to work the full working week, usually 5 days. Legally, it often means not exceeding around 48 hours per week, typically. And full-time workers, they generally get the full package of benefits, health insurance, paid holidays, maybe overtime pay.
Stable, predictable, the backbone, really.
Exactly. It's the staple for those consistent long-term roles. Good for stability on both sides.
But what if a business doesn't need someone for, say, 40 hours every single week? Or maybe they only need extra hands during peak times.
Right. That takes us straight to part-time employment. This just means working fewer hours than full-time. It could be 3 days a week, maybe just afternoons. The key thing here is flexibility.
Flexibility for who?
Both, really.
Yeah.
Businesses use it to handle fluctuating demand. Think about retail stores needing extra staff during lunch rushes or weekends.
Yeah, or call centers, maybe.
Exactly. And it also really suits people who are, balancing work with studying or family care or other commitments. It lets them contribute without that full week obligation. Strategically, it lets businesses match their labor costs much more closely to their actual workload.
Smart. Okay, and I've heard about situations where two people kind of share one full-time job. How does that work?
Yeah, that's a job share. It's quite an innovative setup. Basically, two part-time workers divide the duties, the hours, and the pay of a single full-time position.
So they coordinate who does what and when.
Precisely. It offers amazing flexibility for the individuals, great for work-life balance. But for the business, you actually get potentially diverse skills and perspectives applied to one role. Two heads tackling the job.
Interesting. Could be good for creativity, too.
It really can. And it's a fantastic way for businesses to retain valuable employees who might otherwise have to leave if they couldn't work full-time anymore.
Okay, so that helps keep good people. But what about those times when a business needs someone, like right now, maybe for an unexpected rush or just for very short, unpredictable bursts? No fixed hours at all.
Okay, that sounds like casual employment. These workers are essentially on call. They have no guaranteed hours.
So zero commitment on either side, almost.
In terms of guaranteed hours, yes. They offer huge flexibility for businesses, especially in sectors like hospitality, events management, maybe even some emergency services. Demand can shoot up and down.
So the business just calls them when they need them?
Yep, often at short notice. Can you come in tonight?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. It lets businesses scale up super quickly for a busy period without the overhead costs of permanent staff. For agile businesses, especially startups, this can be a lifesaver.
Right. Like a restaurant calling someone in for a surprise Friday night rush.
Exactly that.
Okay. And what if the need isn't unpredictable, but it's tied to a specific time of year, like every summer or every Christmas?
That leads perfectly to seasonal employment. This is specifically for those periods of the year when businesses know they'll experience high demand because of a particular season or maybe a recurring event.
Like harvesting or ski season.
Perfect examples. Agriculture during harvest time, retailers during the holiday season, a ski resort in winter, a beachside hotel during summer. Workers are hired for that defined period, and their job ends when the season's over. It's predictable, just temporary.
Got it. Defined period, recurring need. And one more. What if you need to cover someone who's out for a longer stretch, maybe maternity leave or a long illness? It's not seasonal, not casual.
That would typically be temporary employment. This is for a short, specific duration, often to cover for a permanent employee who's absent. Think maternity leave, long-term sickness, or maybe even working on a specific, time-limited project.
And does temporary ever become permanent?
Sometimes, yes. If the temporary worker does a great job, fits in well, and maybe a permanent need arises, it can definitely lead to a permanent offer. It's a way for businesses to keep things running smoothly without committing to a permanent hire immediately. Kind of a try before you buy sometimes.
Okay, wow. So it's really not just about hours worked. It's the nature of the work, the duration, the flexibility. It really shows how businesses have to be quite strategic in matching the type of employment to their actual needs.
Absolutely. Each type serves a very distinct purpose in managing their workforce effectively.
Right. So now we understand the different types of roles businesses might need to fill. Let's talk about how they actually find the people. The process. It feels like it could be quite complex.
It is a process, and getting it right is crucial. Think of it like a journey, maybe. Every business, big or small, eventually needs new team members. Expansion, someone leaves. It happens.
So how do they make sure they attract the best people, not just anyone?
Good question. It's a multi-stage process, and yes, remembering the order is helpful because each step logically follows the last. It all starts when they realize they need someone.
Okay, step one.
Step one, identify the need. Simple as it sounds, it's foundational. Why do we need new staff? Are we growing? Did someone retire? Is a position vacant? Do we need temporary cover, like we just discussed?
So defining the why and what.
Exactly. Determining the reason for the hire, the type of role needed full-time, part-time, etc., and how many people are required. You can't find the right person if you don't know what gap you're trying to fill.
Makes sense. So once that need is crystal clear, what's next? Defining the job itself.
Precisely. Step two is to prepare a job description and person specification. Before you even think about advertising, you need to pin down the details.
Okay, what's the difference between those two documents? They sound similar.
They're distinct but related. The job description is like the blueprint for the job itself. It outlines the job title, who the person reports to, the main purpose of the role, and crucially, the specific duties and responsibilities.
Like manage social media accounts, process invoices, handle customer calls.
Exactly. It also usually includes things like the hours, the salary range, maybe holiday entitlement. It tells you what the job is.
Got it. And the person specification.
The person specification describes the ideal person for that job. It details the qualifications, experience, skills, both technical and soft skills attitudes, and personal attributes needed.
So this is about the who.
Absolutely. And critically, it often distinguishes between what's essential, the absolute must-haves.
Like you must have this degree or this specific experience.
Right. And what's desirable, the nice-to-haves that would make a candidate stand out, but aren't deal breakers. Maybe speaking another language is desirable, but not essential for the core tasks.
Okay. Blueprint for the job, profile for the person. Very clear. Then I guess it's time to tell people about it.
Yep. Step three, advertise the vacancy. Now that the role is defined, the business needs to decide how and where to advertise it.
Lots of options there, I imagine.
Huge range. Local newspapers, national papers, specialist industry magazines or websites for niche roles, and of course online job boards, LinkedIn, Indeed, company websites. The key is choosing the media that will most likely reach the right pool of potential candidates for that specific role.
Target the advertising. Okay, so the ads are out, applications start rolling in. Must be quite a pile sometimes. What happens then?
Then comes step four. Evaluate applicants and shortlist. This is where the hard work of sifting begins. The business reviews all the applications, the CVs, the application forms.
Against what?
Against the job description, and especially the person specification they created earlier. They're looking for the candidates whose skills and experience most closely match the essential criteria, and hopefully some of the desirable ones too.
And shortlisting is just narrowing it down.
Exactly. It's the process of selecting a smaller, manageable group of the most suitable candidates who seem like the best fit on paper. These are the ones you'll invite for an interview. It makes the next stage, much more focused and efficient.
Okay, so you have your shortlist, the top contenders. Time to meet them.
Yes. Step 5 is interview candidates. The shortlisted individuals are invited in. This is usually the first face-to-face or maybe video call interaction. It's a chance to go beyond the paper application.
To get a feel for the person.
Yeah. Assess their personality, communication skills, how they present themselves, how they might fit the team culture, and to probe deeper into their experience.
Which leads into the actual interview itself, step 6.
Right. Step 6 is carry out interviews. During the interview, the hiring manager or panel asks questions. They might clarify things in the application, ask behavioral questions, tell me about a time you, maybe present hypothetical scenarios to see how the candidate thinks on their feet.
Testing their problem solving or attitude.
Exactly. Assessing attitude, commitment, how they respond under a bit of pressure.
Yeah.
But it's crucial to remember it's a two-way street.
How so?
The candidate is also interviewing the company. They're assessing the role, the manager, the culture, asking their own questions. A good interview allows both sides to see if it's a good match. Businesses can lose great candidates at this stage if the interview experience is poor.
That's a really important point. Okay, interview's done. Decision time.
Finally, yes. Step 7, offer the job. After evaluating all the interviews, comparing the candidates against the criteria, the business selects the best person for the role and makes them a formal job offer.
And hopefully they accept.
Hopefully. And getting this whole process right, from identifying the need all the way to the offer, is so critical. Because making the wrong hiring decision, that can be incredibly expensive.
Expensive how?
Think about it. The costs of advertising again, the management time spent interviewing again, the cost of training someone new again, plus the hidden costs. Lower productivity while the wrong person struggles, potential damage to team morale, maybe even losing customers if it's a client-facing role. It's a huge investment, not just filling a vacancy.
Wow, yeah. The ripple effects are significant.
Yeah.
Okay, we mentioned those key documents, job description, person specification. Let's just clarify exactly what goes into them. You said they're easy to mix up.
They really are. But understanding their purpose helps avoid just memorizing definitions. They're tools for clarity.
So the job description first. What's typically in there?
Okay, think of it as the factual what. It outlines the job title clearly, who the person reports to their line manager. It describes the overall role or purpose within the company, and then it lists the specific duties and responsibilities.
The day-to-day tasks.
Exactly. For, say, an account clerk, it would list things like matching invoices, processing payments, handling expense claims, recording financial data. It also usually includes practical details like working hours, the salary or salary range, and holiday entitlement. It's the concrete definition of the job.
Got it. Very factual. So if that's the what, the person's specification is the who.
Precisely. This document describes the ideal person to fill that job described in the job description. It focuses on the human element. Qualifications needed, level of experience required, specific skills, maybe software proficiency or language skills.
And personality traits, too.
Yes. Often attitudes and personal attributes are included. Things like good team player, attention to detail, proactive attitude, and remember that key distinction, essential versus desirable.
Right, the must-haves and nice-to-haves.
Crucial for filtering. For instance, for a web production manager, maybe a degree in a related field and 5 years experience are essential. Speaking Spanish might be desirable if they have international clients, but not strictly necessary to do the core job.
Okay, that difference is key. So those two define the need. How do candidates actually apply? You mentioned application forms and CVs.
Right. Businesses often use a standard application form. The big advantage here is consistency.
Everyone answers the same questions.
Exactly. It collects the same information from all applicants in the same format. Usually covers personal details, education history, past employment, references. And often there's a section for the applicant to write why they think they should get the job, addressing the person's specification points. It makes comparing candidates much easier, especially for initial screening.
Okay, standardized. What about the CV then? That's the one people write themselves, right?
Yes, the curriculum vitae, CV, or sometimes called a resume, is created by the job seeker. It's their personal marketing document.
So it can be tailored more.
Definitely. Well, it covers similar ground education, work history, skills the applicant controls the format and emphasis. They can highlight the experiences and achievements most relevant to the specific job they're applying for. It allows them to present themselves in the best possible light, showcasing their unique value proposition.
So job description, the job. Person specification, the ideal person. Application form, standardized info collection. CV, personalized pitch from the applicant.
You got it. Each piece plays a vital role in that matching process.
Okay, so the business knows the job, knows the person they want, and applications are coming in. Now they face a big strategic choice. Where do they look for this person? Inside the company or outside?
That's a really important fork in the road. Internal versus external recruitment. And the choice has big implications, like you say, for costs, for morale, for innovation.
Let's break that down. What exactly is internal recruitment?
Internal recruitment means filling the vacancy by appointing someone who already works for the business.
Like a promotion
Yeah.
or moving someone sideways.
Both are common examples. Promoting someone from a junior role or transferring someone from a different department who has the right skills. The key is they're already an employee.
Okay, what are the big plus points for recruiting internally, keeping it in-house?
Several significant advantages. First, it's generally cheaper. You save on external advertising costs and potentially agency fees.
And quicker, maybe?
Often, yes. The onboarding process is usually faster because they already know the company culture, the systems, the people, their work ethic, their abilities, their potential. These are known quantities. There's less risk involved compared to hiring a complete unknown.
Reduces the gamble a bit.
Exactly. And perhaps most importantly, it can be a massive morale booster for existing staff.
How so?
When employees see that there are genuine opportunities for promotion and career development within the company, it increases motivation, loyalty, and retention. It shows that the company invests in its own people.
Okay, strong arguments for looking inward first. But surely there are times when looking outside is better, or even necessary.
Absolutely. That's external recruitment, appointing someone from outside the current workforce.
When would a company choose that route? What are the advantages?
The biggest advantage is simply a wider pool of candidates. You're not limited to your existing staff. You have access to potentially hundreds or thousands more people, increasing the chance of finding someone with the absolute best skills and experience for the role.
Brings in fresh blood, maybe?
Right, precisely. External recruits bring new ideas, different perspectives, potentially new skills and ways of working learned elsewhere. This can be vital for innovation, challenging the status quo and keeping the business competitive. Relying only on internal recruitment can sometimes lead to stagnation or groupthink.
Yeah, I can see that. Prevents things getting too insular.
Exactly. External recruitment can inject necessary change and new talent. And the methods are varied. Newspaper ads, online job boards like we mentioned, recruitment agencies, headhunters for senior roles, employee referrals, university career fairs, government job centers, even just people sending in speculative applications.
So, quite a few ways to reach external candidates. It really sounds like a trade-off then.
It is. You trade the lower cost, speed, known quantity, and morale boost of internal recruitment against a wider choice, fresh perspectives, and new skills that external recruitment can bring. The best approach often depends on the specific role, the company's current situation, and its strategic goals.
A really key strategic decision for HR and managers. Okay, that clarifies the internal versus external choice brilliantly.
Good.
All right, to help everyone listening check their understanding and just reinforce some of these key points, we've got a quick quiz. Ready?
Let's do it. Fire away.
Okay, no pressure, just think these through. First question. Which of the following pieces of information is most likely to appear on a standard job application form? Is it A, applicant's gender, B, name of last mistress, definitely not that one, C, applicant's marital status, or D, applicant's political preferences?
Okay, take a moment to think. Right. Application forms gather relevant personal and employment-related details. While laws vary on what's permissible, marital status is sometimes asked for administrative or benefits purposes, whereas the others are generally inappropriate or irrelevant. So the answer is C, applicant's marital status.
Okay, good. Question 2, focusing on the recruitment process stages. What is the specific term for the process of sorting through all the application forms to select a smaller, suitable group of candidates to invite for an interview? Is it A, selection, B, shortlisting, C, testing, or D, prioritizing?
Think about that filtering stage. The correct term for narrowing down the applicant pool before interviews is B, shortlisting. Selection is the overall process. Testing might be part of it. And prioritizing is too general. Shortlisting is that specific step.
Excellent. Final question. Testing our understanding of employment types. Imagine a catering company gets a contract to provide all the food service at a big music festival just for one weekend. What type of employee might they specifically recruit just for that weekend event? A, part-time worker, B, casual worker, C, seasonal worker, or D, full-time worker?
One specific weekend event. Okay, while casual offers flexibility, the work is tied directly to a specific defined event or period, the festival weekend. That fits the definition of seasonal worker best, even if the season is very short. Part-time implies regular hours, just fewer than full-time, and casual implies less predictability, so C.
Great explanations. Hopefully that helps solidify things.
Fingers crossed.
That really was a fantastic deep dive into recruitment and selection. We've covered a lot of ground. The different ways people can be employed, that step-by-step recruitment journey, why those documents like job descriptions and person specs are so important, and the strategic choice between looking inside or outside the company.
Yeah, and understanding these concepts, it's not just about exam answers, is it? It's really fundamental to how businesses build the teams they need to actually function and succeed. Getting recruitment right underpins so much else.
It really does. And that brings us to a final thought to mull over. Think about the ripple effect. How does a really effective strategic recruitment process, or conversely, a consistently poor one, impact a business beyond just filling jobs? Consider the impact on innovation, on team dynamics, on company culture, customer satisfaction, and ultimately its long-term survival and success. It runs deep.
Absolutely. It shapes the entire organization over time. And just a reminder, if you are looking for more resources on this or any other IGCSE business topics, do check out www.igcse-business.weebly.com.
Thanks so much for diving deep with us today. We really hope you feel more informed, more confident, and ready to tackle your next business challenge.